Hey, good morning. How's it going? It's getting going a little early. Checking out the stream health. Learning all kinds of things. Got the autofocus on, so let's change that. There we go. That better? Yeah. All right. Just sewing some wallabies for fall. First ones that I have. Putting on the handles. Gotta change my thread though already. Got my new machine a couple days ago, and it's so far really awesome. Still getting some tension issues on certain things that I sew, but for the most part, it's quieter and a little smoother. It's not as happy with the thicker things that I do for chicken boots, but I'm finding workarounds, which is great because I don't plan on doing as much of that sewing with this machine anyway. Sorry, I'm going to probably take things off camera to trim on the over the garbage can occasionally. So have to look at that stream health thing. This is all so new to me. I don't really know much about how to run a stream or video, and all the computer parameters that you need to have in place. It's not something I really want to be an expert in, but it's happening. I still am not an expert though. So I may lift my presser foot up a lot, like all that clacking noise, because my old machine was a knee lift, which means I used my knee to lift the presser foot with like a arm down below the table here. And I'm still getting used to the heel lift, and so sometimes it starts snapping up and down because I will relieve a little pressure, and they'll be like, no, I want that up, and so it's a little noisier. It's the only thing I don't like about the heel lifts. Noisier, but so much better for my back and things like that. So this is my little, oh actually, I've discovered this little method on putting my wallaby handles on that makes it so my little curve here doesn't end up doing this or this and getting stretched out when I put the handle on. And so I'm tacking this little piece of bias in between the two handles. And this won't show. It'll just be inside the handle, give it a little more stability, if anything. And I just took some of our bias and cut it down the middle in half. So I just need to make sure that I put it on the right way, otherwise it could end up getting stretched out. I'm sorry I'm sewing on black too. I know that's not the best for the camera. But I only have one of these. And I'm pretty excited to see how the fall fabrics are sewing up. I sew this from the inside of the bag. I find doing all like things that are in a circle, like a sleeve or hems of a pant, I find it easier to do it from the inside. You just need to make sure that your bobbin thread looks good. Easier said than done, I know, but you know. It's possible. Hey, Brooke. Thank you for saying hi. It's nice to be able to see it. I have to have like a laptop right here to be able to see the messages. It's really weird. When you have a sewing machine and all the things you need to be able to sew the thing that you're sewing, it's a lot of stuff to have around. How's the volume? Tell me how my mic is. I'm getting a new mic, but is this loud enough right now? Because I want to make sure you can actually hear me. That my hair is not touching the mic because I do have a lot of that, and it's sometimes, oh my gosh, I'm doing the wrong color bobbin, you guys. You're distracting me. Look at that. Oh boy. See, I knew I had to do something like that on camera, right? Just to make sure, prove I'm human. I'm actually going to take this off from this side. But hey, we all do things like this, right? Better discovering it now than later. You had to create a channel to chat with you. I know. Well, and I'm glad I can see that it's you, because I know sometimes people will pick usernames that don't reflect who they are in real life, and I can't tell. So some folks are going to have to say, "Hey, this is so and so I know it's you." I know that on some sites that where I have to have a username, I don't want it to be my real one. So I don't blame people for that at all. You know, so that's how I control people, right? So my presser foot automatically goes down after a while if it gets tired of waiting for me. All right, let's change the bobbin thread. Oh, your message was retracted. Wait, the black shows up pretty well, actually. Your light is good. The only thing that is a little hard to see is the handle. Oh, yeah. I know, it's really dark. It's a cotton webbing. The volume is good. Yay! All right, well, I don't really like the quality of this mic. Like, it sounds kind of thin. I don't really know audio lingo, but when I hear other streamers, it's a little richer of a sound, and so I feel like that's more pleasant to listen to, and it feels like I miss less of what they're saying when the sound is really good. I have trouble hearing things for some reason, even though my hearing's good. Maybe it's because I'm not a good listener. I don't know. I try. Yeah, you got to figure out what you want to be called. I know. You could go for something pretty fun, you know. Create multiple ones. I have a few different YouTube ones just because I want to keep the suggestions that gosh, YouTube. I don't want everybody to know how much I game, but all the suggestions they send me are all gaming streams, which is kind of cracks me up, you know. What was the message that was retracted? Is that something you did, or did you say a word that YouTube didn't like? Because I see it says message retracted. And usually when I see that in streams, it says message deleted. And it's because someone used a word that the streamer set up as a banned word. So be nice, people. I can do that once I learn how. Because I really don't know how. I just am a little sewer, and I just want to sew with people. Now watch, I'm not going to make it all the way around because I've been fiddling with it too much. See, and I just tucked that in under there. I still need to remove some of the thread. So yeah, this is the method I've discovered putting on the handle. It's not that easy, but once I get the hang of it, it's not too bad. So I have a little back tack right here, so sometimes you'll see me hit this, and that's my back tack, like that. But I have a larger handle over here, and sometimes I do that when I don't want it to be a quick one. It doesn't have to be quick on that. It's just a little easier to control on the other one. It's not so snappy. All right, so I'm really liking this black and white. It's like a woodcut print. You see that? There's a bird on it. I don't know if you can see that really well. But I really like the way it looks like it's carved out of wood or linoleum or something. All right, so that's my wallaby. I did a purple one today too. This really amazing geometric print made by this Australian designer. This color doesn't show up on camera very well, but it's pretty cool in person. And I have a blue one with a bird on it as well, but I already finished that one the other day. So now I'm trying to salvage all these sprinters that we made in production for spring. Oh, you misspelled something, so you deleted it. Oh, you don't have to do that. It's really, oh, thanks. I think there's a little bit of a delay, so if I don't respond to what you're saying immediately, that's probably why. It's not like a delay I've added, like, you know, when you, I don't know, sometimes, of course, there's a reason to have delays. It's just probably the difference between coming from here all the way to the web to you. So, all right, so I have all these sprinters, and this is the first product ever that I put something out into the world, and the design did not end up meeting expectations, and we learned that after that we put them out into the world, and we were already in production when we discovered that. So I have this stack of finished sprinters that I need to figure out, and I finally think I figured out something that will mitigate the issue or prevent it from happening. And that is, the issue is that the webbing can't be sewn directly to the vinyl. It's too much of a stress point. And so I am going to relieve the stress by attaching the handle to the canvas on this side. That way, when someone holds the handle, they're pulling from here and here rather than here and here. And I'm really hoping this works out. So just because we have them all made and people were really excited about it, kind of a bummer. And I'm going to see how they go. So I'm going to put a cream bobbin on. This is definitely not ideal, doing a cream bobbin with a black upper. So we're just going to try one out. See, sorry, I'm snapping my presser foot all over the place. And one of the benefits of stopping needle down is so that I can pivot without losing my spot. I think I'm going to do a triangle. And now head back to start. And I'm hoping it is tolerable on the inside. That was my first time sewing with a new bobbin, so it leaves this really long tail. So let's see. So I'm hoping that right there, oh, you know what? Actually, I don't want a triangle. Let's see. I don't want that stress point right there. Let's see. Figuring this out. So today I'm just going to sew little things like this I have on my to-do pile that sit here staring at me. I try and keep that pile down to a minimum, but it builds up really fast, and that is generally not the case that it's down to a minimum. But right now it's actually pretty good. So this is something that's been on the back burner since probably February. So I'm hoping to, oh, this bag has a flaw anyway. Rip. All right, well, that one's not good. Okay, let's try another. I'm going to keep this one pin right here. So is there anybody else here you want to say hi? Give me some feedback. Let me know how it is. Quality. Brooke says the mic quality is pretty good. I know I'm sewing on black. Sorry, guys. Let me make sure. And I'm just fixing these sprinters because I really want them to be out in the world, not just sitting here. Like, I almost threw them all away. That's kind of where I'm at with these. Because I don't like putting something out in the world that's not, that I know is not probably going to work. So let's see. We're just changing the stress point on this bag. Let me try the angle. What are you guys sewing these days? Anyone else out there sewing? I'm going to go straight up, right? That's what I decided. So I also have a auto thread trim feature on this machine. I have an auto backpack potential as well, but I don't need that. Yeah, I think that this, oh, but I did it wrong. See? First few doing them never go the way you want them to. So what I need is all of the slack of the handle to be this side, and that's when I want to pin it. Just like that. So that this is the spot. These are already tagged and everything. They were supposed to go to a show with us back in February. All right, let's try this again. Sometimes I will make a design and I'll be like, oh yeah, there's not going to be any issues with that. And then I saw the prototype and I'm like, wow, how could I not have thought of that? This is definitely one of those issues. I don't think this one's lined up very well. And we do have our losses. And retrofitting anything is always a gamble. Yes, I'm not really that thrilled with it. I don't know, what do you guys think? I like the sprinter, but I'm just still not that thrilled with it, with the vinyl. Definitely going to be sale bag. Definitely not first. Such a shame. Oh, hi, Christina. No, I did have the handle pointing the wrong way. But did you catch that, Brooke, before I sewed it? Yeah, see, I probably need to pay attention to you guys. What are you sewing, Christina? Okay, some of these are sewn higher up on the bag than others. Like even just a slight angle is going to change how I can put this on. But I think I can do this. Maybe I will just try a smaller box. Your room's been taken over by, oh, yarn for rewinding. Oh, yeah, I know that feeling. I just so know that feeling. I think like the life-changing sewing thing, like when people ask me what my favorite tool is, I think they're always surprised when I say it's my table. But, you know, getting a table to cut things out on, that's like a height that I can stand at and I don't have to bend over, you know, like not cutting things out on the floor or the dining room table. That's life-changing, and it feels so good when you get that. All right, I kind of like this fix the best. It's box stitched. Handle's still a pretty good loop. It's not too close to the side seam. I'm going to try a few of those. All right, let's try this again. Repetitive stuff. That's all I do. Repetitive stuff. I think I remember like reading all those interviews of along the years of someone who would say something like, oh, you know, once I started my business, I thought, oh, I want to do this forever, so I'm going to create a business around it. And then they realized quickly that they didn't always get to be creative during it, not in the way that they wanted to. Maybe they had to be creative in solving a problem. But you don't always get to design. You can't keep designing because you can't make everything you're designing. You can't just keep adding products to the line. My customers know that firsthand when I delete something and they liked it. It's just we can't make it all. And here's a good example of fixing something that didn't go so well. A Jordy bralette. Oh, I haven't made any of those. Your first was too small. You're trying to cram in sewing during baby's nap time. Oh my gosh, I so know that. When I had my daughter's a teenager now. When I had my daughter, the thing that bugged me the most about becoming a parent was the loss of time I had to just sit down and do something for a really long time. I used to be one of those people that would be like, I'm going to do this today, and I would sit down, cut it out, sew it, fit it, sew it again, fit it, and be wearing it by the next day. Like I started and stopped the project in the same day. And when I had a baby, that couldn't happen anymore. You know, everyone was like, oh, it's so great you have your own business. You can just take her into work with you. That didn't work for me. It didn't work for my daughter. She hated going into the office even as a newborn. And the hardest lesson for me to wrap my head around was sewing in 20-minute increments, or working on something in 20-minute increments. It was really painful. I can't stress how painful that was for someone like me. And what I learned, and at least I discovered that I noticed this was happening, was that the work I was turning out was better because of it. because I wasn't rushing through the project. And then I would sit there and, baby would start crying, wake up from the nap. I'd run out, be like, okay, I have to stop this. Hopefully I'll remember where I'm at, leave, and then I'd come back and be like, oh, hey, I'm not sure I really like that, or I really love that, and then I could make adjustments, and I was turning out better things. So at least that was my life lesson, Kirby! Hi, Kirby. Are you at work too? I'm sorry, I'm like stealing away from some of you from your like work, but this is important too. This is my work. So is the Jordy bralette, is that like a lace bralette, Christina? I know you want to be sewing right now. Now I'm asking you questions and you're like, oh, wait, I want to sew. I don't want to sit there answering questions. But I am like every woman alive. It's hard to fit with a bra. But I have to admit, I'm not really that interested in sewing my own bra. Oh, see, I sewed this one wrong. I can tell. I'm trying to fix sprinters, Kirby. You are the first that alerted me that there could be an issue to that handle, and I had all these sewn. So this is my current idea, is that I'm putting the stress point on the front, and then there's the pulling is right here of the handle. So it's not that elegant, but it actually works really well without throwing these in the garbage, because I have a problem with throwing things, like wasting. Like, I just don't want stuff to go to the landfill, Internet, where's the video camera? That's awesome. Maria! What are you sewing, Maria? Or are you burning wood right now? I know you. Got your laser cutter. You're like, I'm not about that sewing life anymore. Until you're like over the wood burning probably, huh? And then you're like, oh, I just want to do sewing. That's mindless for me. I know. At least you have the option. Okay, this is my method, right, Brooke? I'm doing a little box. Let's see. I got it onto the front. I never pin while I sew. Like, I never pin anything for chicken boots. When I do garment sewing, I have to use pins. I feel like one of my things is ensuring success, and if you have to pin it to do it, do it. But typically, I don't ever have pins sitting here, so it's kind of funny to be sewing a chicken boots thing. But this, I know, keep forgetting to put that handle in the back. Yeah, I think that's gonna work. Just making a big old pile on the floor. A bra tulle version, but there are instructions for lace or fabric, covered foam too. Oh, yeah, it is hard. 20 minutes. 20 minutes seems like nothing in sewing, but I really got efficient with my time use, and I feel like it made me a faster person and better at making decisions on the fly. I've always been someone who actually likes production style sewing. My mom, on the other hand, just doesn't like doing multiples of anything. And so, like, I remember when I would visit her, like, eons ago, she worked at an elementary school, and of course she would hand make the Christmas gifts for every single person at that gosh darn school. And I would visit over Christmas, and she'd be like, oh, I'm so glad you're here. I am making 15,000 little gingerbread thingies or whatever, and I'm glad you're here, Ms. Production Princess. See, this one doesn't, I don't know, girls. But I was all about it. I was like, great, I like being busy. I don't want to come here and sit and, do nothing. When you're in your 20s, going home sometimes wasn't high on your list, even though I'm so glad the few times I did it, because I didn't do it enough. I'm really glad I did. And I love sitting down and doing those big involved projects. I mean, they were never simple, too. My mom was super creative, and she would come up with these really clever, amazing things that she'd be making, and we would make, 150 of them for everybody. I've always been into production style, doing multiples. I like the mindlessness of it. So now you're stuck, Maria, laser cutting all the time, huh? See, that's a problem. You were just too clever with that. But you want to sew all the things. You do sew all the things. Ooh, new fabric. Not new to me, but we always love it when we change. Maria, I'm fixing all these sprinter bags. We sewed them in the spring, discovered there could be an issue, and now I'm trying to salvage them. These are definitely going to be sale items. I'm just trying to make it so I don't have to throw them in the landfill. Changing the stress point to this handle. Changing the stress point of the handle. So what else? How's the lighting, you guys? Is the machine bed kind of dark right here? I only have one light on. You can see that it's coming from right here. I have a window here that's open, but it's tinted. And then the one behind me is shut because the bus stop behind me has a lot of drama in it, and I want you to watch me, not that. But it is quite entertaining sometimes, I will admit. If you like people watching. Ooh, you can see and hear me. Okay, Kirby, give me feedback. Kirby's been sewing all kinds of clothes lately. She made this adorable cashmerette dress and Disneyland fabrics. She looks like she had her ears made to match the dress. Really cute. Went to Disneyland. Didn't tell me she's coming to California. You know how it is. See, I'm just worried that this little box of sewing is just not going to be enough for this handle. It looks good and clear. Good. I ordered another microphone, Maria, because I feel like this one's a little thin, but this one is on me. It's right here, and it's the little little battery thing is in my pocket, so I can move around and I don't bonk it. And like the cameras, you guys, it's kind of nuts. I have one here. That's what this is right here is my overhead camera. And then the one on me is actually sitting on top of the monitor of my laptop, and I swung my laptop around to face me. Because I had the face cam on another swing arm like this, and then I swear everything's gone wrong with me trying to set up the stream. I kid you not, the little like female part of the camera that you screw onto here fell out, and my offices and studio are really clean right now, and I could not find the damn thing, and so I finally found it. I glued it in there, but I was too scared to trust it. So I just set it on top of the monitor, and actually I really like it better. I think you can see more of me, and it's more, I don't know, it just seems like a better perspective. But we'll see what brings, what happens next week, what that brings me. I am loving my new machine. Maria, I got a new machine. Hubba hubba. I'm into it. Maria, is your Juki brand new, the one you bought, or did you buy a used one? This is my first time ever having a brand new industrial machine, and I have probably owned an industrial sewing machine since college, since I was like 20 years old. Maybe I would get rid of one or two here and there because of, I was moving a lot or whatever. This is kind of boring sewing, isn't it? You want me to sew something different? I'd like to sew something different. Let's see. I have some needle cases to sew in the Gidget and Moondoggie. I have all these. I have some quickies here that are almost done, but I'm pretty sure I need to take out this row of stitching right here, and these are just going to be different. I think these pockets are too narrow. I mean, I know needles can be that small. I don't know, I keep looking at them and I'm wondering if I should take all these apart just right here and just leave one big pocket here and then 3 here. I don't know. Oh, you got, yeah, you got a used one too. Yeah, I think I might sell my machine just because I don't have the space now for it, and Rayanne bought the other one, and I have about as much as I can handle. Here, I have my binding machine is right here, and then I have my serger behind me, and actually just right to the right of it is my home sewing machine, which I have never had set up in my workshop before, but I think it'll be great for doing buttons and buttonholes and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm loving the new machine, Maria. It's not the same model, the 5500. It's a 8700. They don't make the 5500 anymore, brand new. I don't really know the whole Juki thing by heart or understand it all, but so the 5500 is a little better for the heavy weight. Like, I love that machine, but this one is the comparable one to it, and it's going really well so far. It's so nice to have a white machine bed, so I'm really excited about that. The other one looks so antique. What do you guys think? How about some DPN cases? We could do that. I have some in Moondoggy. I feel like that's such a slacker. I launched this whole fabric group, and I never put the needle cases on. I know, so terrible. Oh, these aren't bound here. Why aren't these bound? Well, I can't really sew those then. They need to be bound. Back to sprinters. Or I could actually, yeah. I have all the guts complete, which is really nice. These are almost there. So what I could do is I just don't have the binding on this edge for the pocket because that's what it needs on both sides. Maybe some single cases. I have this one hydrangeas in each of these fabrics because it was supposed to be the sample that goes to the factory, and then I forgot I already pulled it, and then they all got sent and they all got sewn, and then I had these one random thing. So, all right, I'm gonna sew the pockets of the single case, just the interior. And soon I'm gonna start sewing the my Charlie Kaftan from Needle Sharp, which I'm really excited about. I need to cut it out, and I just wanted to make sure that everything here was set up before I got distracted starting to cut and sew. What fabric did you decide for the Needle Sharp? Oh, the sweater one. You know what I decided to do, Kirby, is I actually felt like there were pros and cons for me for each of the fabrics for the sweater box, and I told her she can pick for me. I know that seems crazy, but I'm really just up for whatever. I liked all of her fabric choices. I thought they were all really great, and I have the heavyweight box, so it means I'm making... I can make a sweater dress, I think, is the heavyweight's biggest project that you can do. And then I think I can make that sweater into a sweatshirt instead. I need to get rid of this pin. I don't like the pins sitting on my machine. I don't use a pen cushion, and you'll hear me whine about why I don't. I do not use magnetic pin cushions, I should say. So, are you still thinking about doing the Needle Sharp, Kirby, or do you want to see how mine goes the first few times? I'm pretty excited about it. Sorry, I keep clacking. All right, so I'm going to do some single case. Just tell me if I'm bringing things out of the camera too often, because I'm still getting used to my canvas size, so to speak, because it is different. I tend to like put things on my lap down here because I'm like trimming something or trimming it over the garbage can. Yes, I am living dangerously. Like I said, I'm just kind of treating it as like a wardrobe builder, and someone else is picking out my wardrobe. Granted, I didn't like answer a questionnaire for something like that. So this is how I put on the pockets with the single case. I secure them both at each end, and then I have notches on this piece and notches on this piece, and then I match them up. I used to not have notches, on one of them, just the other one. And so that I just line it up with the notch and sew as straight as possible. That's the trick with these, is learning how to sew parallel with, because sometimes what looks perpendicular to you is not, and then all the pockets slant, and it's just like ever so small, but it adds up. I've only sewn about 1 million of these over my chicken boots time having this product. Oh, they had a shorts box? Ooh. You know what? Some of their boxes are still on their website. I would do a shorts one. I could actually use shorts here. I've looked at her fabrics on there. I didn't look at her past boxes. I'm so worried I'm going to get behind on sewing those things, but I tend to not on something like that, and it's great because it's going to generate content for the stream. I had already bought that Charlie Captain pattern, and I didn't even remember doing that until the other day when I was looking through my patterns. I was like, oh, I already own this. Maybe I could give it away to someone. And so I flatten these out by just pleating them like this. It doesn't really have to be too precise. I found that even when I am, it doesn't matter because the zipper is going to cover this up right here. And the bottom of the pocket doesn't need to expand, only the top. And really, it doesn't need to expand much because the needles we use, or the needles we put in them, really aren't that big. And each pocket width accommodates that. I also try and evenly distribute the elastic before I do it. I like more of it that gathers that way. The elastic is really only there to just add another layer of security to keep knitting needles from falling out. Because these are for our single interchangeable case for chicken boots. And these are probably going to be some of the last needle cases we sew for a while. We're going to put the quickie in the line instead for a while because we needed to simplify the line since we lost the factory and Rayanne is moving on, but she's going to do some piece rate for us. June or July. Oh, red pair with button front. Oh, those, yeah, were they kind of a sailor-esque short? Pretty sure. I think I saw it's like you start all of a sudden seeing all these the same garment popping up in your Instagram feed because everyone's sewing it, and I'm like, oh, I want to do that, but I can't. I gotta sew chicken boots. This is another great reason to have this stream so I can start sewing again for me, because I was only sewing on my birthday every year for me. So pathetic. People are always like, so did you make that? I'm like, no, I did not make that. I mean, yeah, I wear things that I've made, obviously, but I don't get to sew for me very often. But I'm hoping that more people will sew with me, or we could do a sew along sometime. I don't know. I'm up for whatever you guys want to do. I just want to build a community. Yeah, sailor shorts. I thought because of when you said double front, I feel like I saw those. They're a little bit high-waisted, right? I feel like I'm looking at you because I'm looking at my laptop, but sorry. They were a little bit high-waisted, right? Ooh, high-waisted. I'm so short-waisted because I'm busty. A little tricky for me. I think or in between, I'm going to do Sonia Phillips, the dress. Well, it's actually, I bought tunic #1, but I'm going to make a dress out of it because I saw her gingham one, which I was over the moon about. I have wanted a black and white gingham dress for a while. Like, I have a screenshot in my photos, probably from 2 years ago. And occasionally, my friend who knows it's there, she'll send me like, hey, did you see they have black and white gingham fabric? But every time I go to buy the fabric, I can't tell how big the squares are. You know, like, are they this big? Are they this big? Are they tiny? Because I don't want them to be so tiny they make you dizzy when you look at them from far away. You know? So, yeah, a bit high-waisted. Yeah, exactly. Yes, sew along, all the things. Monetta, right, Kirby? That's what you're thinking. That's too quick, though. We need something that'll stretch us a little bit. We can work up to an Archer button-up. I think that would be really fun. The Archer button-up is in the next needle shark box. Did you see that? It's not in mine. I have the heavyweight box. I can't remember what is in my box. It's not funny. But when I saw her fabric choices and I guessed, she said I was right. So that was kind of funny. I am terrible at guessing. And I like the Archer. I love picturing you, Kirby, like hiding, in your office watching the stream. Pretending to not look like you're doing that. Am I getting you guys in trouble? So, Christina, if you're still here and you're sewing that bra, is it a pullover bra or does it have like hook and loop closures? Because I haven't heard of the Jordy. I saw like someone post some bras, like a whole bunch of them. Maybe it was Spoonflower or Sprout or Seamwork, maybe one of those guys. I hadn't heard of some of those, so yeah, I'm trying to expand beyond my moneta. I know, yeah, no more monetas for us, right? We are cut off. I keep telling myself like, "Ooh, that'd make a nice moneta." No more monetas. Or I'd like a woven version of that style dress. Oh, I know what the next needle sharp box is. It's a button down dress. I am so about a button down dress. I've been looking for a day dress style dress for the longest time. I bought an indie pattern for one, really loved it, and I had to throw the whole thing away. The pattern wasn't very well made and it wasn't marked very well, and so the bodice, so the dress didn't have a waist seam. It just kind of went in with pleats and then flared out again. It was really elegant and classy, kind of a new take on it. Not new, but just a different take on the day dress. And all this pleating right here wasn't marked on the pattern. You had to figure it out yourself, and that was the whole design feature of that pattern, and I refused to spend my time doing that. I know it sounds kind of bratty, but I was like, what? And I had cut this fabric out, I really loved it, and I got to the sewing machine, I'd sewn part of the dress, and when I got to that, I was like, wait a minute. So I couldn't even figure out where the pleats were because I had already attached a few things to the top, and what a waste. Okay, a wide plush elastic band with hooks and eyes and triangle cups. Oh, it makes the band super easy to fit. Oh, that's nice. Listening mostly. This is so fun. I'm so glad you guys are here. This is exactly what I want. I just want to sew with you. And hopefully I will sew more interesting things besides my work that I need to get done. I will definitely, not even hopefully, I will definitely be sewing different things. Did you see I put that on upside down? I have one notch on the top of this piece and all the notches on the bottom, and I had just started to attach to the other side. I could have figured it out, but I know that right now I'm too distracted to put that on there. Like I say, it's one of my mottos, ensure success. If you even think that it's going to make it better for you, just do it. No one needs to be crying at their sewing machine in the middle of the night. It's just not allowed. Know what I mean, jelly beans? This is good. I'm doing a little short stream today. Get used to everything. Is the machine really loud? It's so loud for me. Probably because it's just new sounds. Like it makes different sounds than my old one does. It seems so loud and clacky. I like this fabric. I like the fish on it a lot. It seems like there's a few people also wanting pattern making advice. At first, that kind of made me a little nervous. I was thinking, oh, I mean, yeah, I know how to do that, but I always hesitate to give pattern drafting advice because when you're sewing for yourself, which is basically custom sewing, the pattern can need so many different things. Like when you're sewing, we're making patterns for ready to wear things, like for a factory just to cut and sew for a garment company. There are standard things you do. I mean, hence why we're all unhappy with sometimes the way things fit, because you just have to pick something as a pattern drafter and hope that that it fits the majority of the people. And I can talk for hours about this and why that is the way it has to be, because I know how many people don't like it. And even like in one of the places that I really enjoyed working, that we took the fit really seriously, because it was a outerwear company, and of course most outerwear, especially when I came to the outerwear industry, was geared towards men. And we had some women's items, and we were one of the handful of companies that were making women's items for the sport that we made things for. So we took the fit really seriously, and we were always butting heads with the guys there, because in their view, they were just like, the women can just buy a smaller size. And it was really hard for us to make them understand why that doesn't work, until one day one of the designers had the brilliant idea of saying, all right, well, how about you put on a woman's garment and we'll just give you a larger women's garment to put on, and you tell us how well it fits. And that made the light bulb go off in the owner's head. He was like, oh yeah, this doesn't work. And that's like the best way to illustrate it. Men and women are different, obviously. Do we really even need to point out that? It's more than just body parts. So, oh good, Kirby, it's satisfying sound. It's really loud on my end. And that designer, I loved working with that designer. She didn't go to all the schooling I hadn't worked all the companies I had, but she had been in the outdoor world for a while, and so she had a different sense that took me that I had to learn working there, because I had all the garment industry background, and she had all the outdoor industry background. And they tend at the time they tended to want to feel like they were rebels. We're not in the garment, we're not in the fashion industry. Fashion, that's so silly. But the thing was, the outdoor industry was created on the backbone of what the garment industry had already had in place, right? So she had this motto above the door, and only we could see it as designers, unless someone happened to look up as they were leaving the design room, and it said, "It'll fit someone." And it sounds like we were being flippant about the fit, but it's the opposite. The thing is, you can only make your measurements in a general way working at a garment company, right? So if the customer that has those measurements tries on your garment, they're going to be in love with you, right? They're going to be like, wow, this company really gets me. But the climber who tries to put on your stuff, or the Olympic swimmer who tries to put on your stuff that has a different physique or whatever, they're not so thrilled because they don't have those measurements. And that was our thing, is for us, it was really frustrating trying to fit all those body types, and we really wanted it, especially because we got to make women's specific things occasionally, and we just kind of consoled ourselves with, it's going to fit someone. It's going to fit someone, and they're going to be happy with this. And women were just so thrilled to have something that had even a slight hourglass shape to it, let alone an actual physical lines for a bust to fit into, or the fact that they had drop seat for going to the bathroom in the woods. That made it a lot easier when you're on your boat than men always had that easy and women couldn't. So fit is a really complicated topic, and I really wish in our country that we did it by a number rather than a measurement, rather than by 6, 8, 10, 12, because that's ambiguous. That 6, that 8, that 10, that doesn't refer to anything, and every company can move that number anywhere they want on the size chart. So why not base it like European style, where they base it on your bust size, oh, this is a 36 or this is a 40. It just makes more sense. It's like that, like men's pants, right? So, and now even men's pants have gotten incorrect in correlating with their actual waist size to their pant size. And some men are just like, wait a minute, but I've always been a 38. You're telling me to buy a 36. That doesn't make sense. They finally added vanity sizing for guys. Alright, I got about 10 more minutes, guys. Maybe a little bit longer. But I'm so glad you're here. So what days and times would you ideally like to see me sitting here? Because I know during the week it's tricky. Because I think I might make a Saturday stream. And then maybe during the week I would just stream maybe even more than one day during the week. I just want to be here as much as possible and available for you. We can talk about production sewing or fit, pattern making. I always back tack with my thumb. I have an automatic back tack with this machine, and I should try it out because my old machine, it's good for something like this, but my old machine left the tiniest little loop right here. So annoying. And so it made it look like it was unsecure, you know, that little loop. And I would always have to, you know, kind of pull out the little thread, then trim off. It was just a little tail of thread, but it was still the end was still poking into the fabric. And so I don't like when don't you feel like I feel like when I see things that are sewn and there's lots of threads on it, I instantly doubt it, you know? And I feel like it's the biggest mistake, people who sew and start bringing things to a show, that the biggest mistake they can do is leave all those threads on there, you know? It just makes me doubt that it's got integrity, like strength and stuff like that. You know, it's going to last when sewing really is quite secure. What is this long thread here doing? Saturdays are great. Otherwise, evenings work for me, but I can always watch the replay. Saturdays would be good. Excited to hear about fit, especially sway back. Oh, I have that. I just learned I have a sway back too, Christina. I think I heard that, and I was just like, sway back. I don't know what that is. I mean, I could visualize what that was, but I didn't think that was me, you know? And now I'm realizing, like, that is indeed what I have. Why things pool on my back and stuff like that. And that little, like, blouse, I don't know if you guys saw on Instagram that I made that quick little Colette blouse. What was that called? The Aster, I think it's called. I wasn't very excited about that pattern when I first got it, but I thought, you know what, this is good to have a simple thing. And it just looked too simple. And it's not actually, it's actually kind of subtle and classy, and there is some shaping in it. So I appreciate that, you know. And I think like that, if I were to crop it a little bit more so that it's ending right above my high point of my hip, then the fabric's not going past my hip and pooling there. It can kind of hang free and be relaxed. That's kind of a fit trick. So that's one of the sway back adjustments I'm thinking, Christina, that would work for like a top when that's happening. But like I have a dress that I really love, from the front and from the side, but from the back it looks like there's like all this extra fabric, like something's wrong with it. And now I know that that's me, not the pattern. They don't teach you things like that in design school because that's a very custom home sew type of thing, type of adjustment to do. Maybe in the outdoor industry, if you had an athlete physique, very common to the sport you're doing, like climbers tend to have a very certain body type. Swimmers are a really obvious body type. Runners, triathletes, they all have these really obvious body types, paddlers, and you learn to make those adjustments for them, but you know, we always made the garment actually fit them doing their sport. What does that mean? A sway back? Is that what you mean? Wait, is that what you're asking, Kirby? Sway back means I think like if you were to look at my profile, my side view of my posture, this would be my upper back, but then I go like this, It's not because I have a curvier butt. It's more that my hips are sitting more forward. I'm still trying to pinpoint exactly what that means for me. And I always have like a little belly. Like even when I was young and thin and really in shape, I always had that little pad in the front on my belly. And I feel like that sway back really pokes that out for me even more, which thank no one for that. And I would really like to solve it because I feel like when that's happening, things will tend to sit off of me at an angle at the front. And then it also will mean my back hem is a little bit shorter because my profile is like this, like picture like a little kid, in an exaggerated posture like that. That's kind of what my back's doing without the rest of my upper body doing that. It just naturally makes my hips tilt forward more. I don't know. Yeah, shorts. Yeah, because you're gonna need probably a longer back rise at the top, Christina, and a shorter front rise, possibly depending on what the front of you is shaped like for that short. And I agree because I don't know how old you are, but when I was young and in high school, there was no such thing as low-rise pants. They were all like at the waist, kind of what's been coming back right now. And my pants gapped so bad in the back, I could have put my backpack back there, And when the low-rise thing came out, it changed jeans for me forever because then they didn't have to fit my waist, which really was where that sway back thing was happening probably. And because my waist is really narrow compared to my hips, I'm very Rubenesque and very hourglass shaped. And that was a life changer, like when the low-rise thing happened, because I didn't like that it made my belly above my pants sometimes, but I did like the fact that it made it so that I didn't have to deal with that big gap at the back, And you could do some darting as well. Yeah, exactly, Kirby. Yeah, it's I feel like with the dress, the fit, you can fix the fit if it has a waist seam a lot easier because you could actually trim off of the bodice back at the waist. You could trim that off. So basically, you want a sideways dart happening at the small of your back. That is what would create less fabric there and make it so that it's shorter on the on your back and on your shorts or your waistline of your pants, if that makes sense, Christina. So yeah, a sideways dart across the small of your back like that. That is what you need to kind of get rid of that, depending on how the rest of you is shaped. I got through all of these Gidget single case pockets. Thanks, guys. You made this much easier. So thank you for everyone who watched my little intro video, because I had enough people watch that it helped me unlock getting a dedicated URL for my YouTube page, because I don't know about you, but when I try and find a certain person on YouTube, it's almost impossible. Like it's they allow duplicate names on YouTube, not the actual stream name, but then people can like put a different name. So there are 40 of the exact same person, probably because like, especially you see this where someone just wants to capitalize on someone else's popularity, so they name their stream the same thing. And maybe their stream isn't actually named that technically, but it looks like it is. And so having the dedicated URL is huge for me. I thought it would take me a while to get there. And now I think the last thing I have to unlock is, I think, 100 views. Wait, not 100 views. Maybe it's a certain number of hours. It's my last thing, though, and I think I'll get that in a shorter amount of time than I thought. I thought it would take me forever to get it, but... Because I see on some streamers' page where they have a community tab, and I don't know what that is, but I love anything having to do with community. So I would like to see what that is and what it would offer you guys. Yeah, see? Exactly, Christina. That is exactly my issue as well. It doesn't matter how thin I am, I still have a little belly, and I think that sway back is just accentuating it. And yeah, I want to get rid of as much extra material around my waist as possible. And sometimes when it's pooling in my back, I feel like I'm always trying to like tuck my hips under now and try and get rid of it, and it doesn't get rid of it at all. Like, it's just physically how I'm made, and I never I never noticed it. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny that I didn't know that, and I was like, huh, it's way back. That's interesting. They needed that adjustment. I don't know what that is. Like, I kind of knew what a sway back was, but I didn't know it was an issue. So funny. My office feels so big now when it's just me here. It's crazy. Can you hear that the bus just pulled up behind me? I wonder. I'll warn you guys, I am near a fire department. Occasionally, we got drama. It's going by. All right, well, definitely work on the Saturday stream thing because I'm down for that for sure. Maybe I can try and do that this weekend because I don't have anything going on. And just test it out and see if we get a few different people. You didn't hear the bell. Hi, Cindy. Is that you? I'm assuming that username Black Moondog is you. At least I know some of your guys' usernames on other platforms, and the crossover is good. I like your little X's in front and behind. Very clever. All right, any suggestions, you guys? Lay it on me, man. I won't ask for forever, you know. After a while, I'll be like, no, I'm too stubborn. I'm not doing that. Are you sewing anything, Cindy, these days? What are you working on? Cross-stitching, maybe? Knitting, I'm sure. I know a lot of you are knitters. I am, too. I've kind of taken a somewhat of a hiatus the last year. It's so hot where I live that it was just getting frustrating having all these brand new hand knits that I would wear one time. So, you know, it's kind of a bummer. But my recent trip and being on vacation, knitting a lot was kind of nice. It made me really want to knit some more. And it just started cooling off here a little bit. I live in, most of you know where I live, but I live in California. And it's really, really smoky where I'm at. Really bad. I'm near Redding. So, late night knitting podcast. Yes, I am saving streams for later viewing. It'll automatically upload and be available, and you can, I think, the way I understand it, because this is what I've seen, is that you're going to see my stream and you're going to see the chat pop up in the real time of the stream. So if someone asked a question that you had, maybe you'll get to see the answer that way. And then I think comments are still available on that. So you can actually still ask a question, and if I see it, I'll still answer it. Don't tell my knitting about my sewing. Sewing pockets in the waist seam opposed to in the skirt. Wait, I saw someone post that on Instagram and I was like, why? I want to know why they're doing that. The waist seam, I mean, would it be like a drop down pocket like that? I mean, I could see that. I have a few skirts that do that, especially like I have a Patagonia skirt that does that, and it's directed at people who travel. They can put their passport in there. I'd never walk around with a passport though. Cindy, you're making placemats today, but we're heading into ballet costume season, so oh god, ballet costumes. Yeah, that's a big fat no for me. one of the quirks about me you're going to learn maybe someday is I have 2 banned fabrics in my shop. I do not allow anything with pile, like fake fur, and burlap. They're not even allowed to cross the door, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm not being a brat about it. It's something that taints your workspace for months, and like the burlap makes you itchy, and maybe it's just I'm particularly susceptible to that. But the fake fur just lives forever. It's the same with little sequins and things like that. Oh my gosh, you just can't get rid of that stuff. And then it taints everything else that you're sewing. They're mostly cotton. That's awesome. You're welcome, late night knitting. Late night knitting? How do you knit late at night? My eyes are done by then. But it's actually a good title. I like it. Do you sew, late night knitter, as well? I know some of you do both. And we were talking about other days and times and maybe a Saturday. Most of you sound like you're in the West. I just think would make the weight not pull down the skirt as much, but I guess it would pull down the waist instead, huh? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And also, if you had a gathered skirt to the waist, putting those gathers in as the front of the pocket, that's not going to look that great unless you put a band at the top of it. I'm not really explaining myself very well, I bet. I would see what that is. If it's a smooth waist seam, like this one's smooth, you could have a drop down pocket. I tend to look for my pockets on the side, but I think another advantage to having a waist pocket would be if your dress had a side zipper and you didn't want to deal with navigating your pocket placement with this side zipper. I could see people wanting to work around with that, and I wouldn't blame them. You could also move the zipper to the back if there's a center back seam, or put a center back seam, and then you'd have your side seams back. But a couple of my Dahlia dresses by Colette, I'm pretty sure it's the Dahlia dress that I wear, that is a strap dress. It comes with sleeves, but I don't do that version. I just put one pocket and then the zipper on the left side, because you always put your zipper on the side if you're right-handed, and you put it on the side if you're left-handed. And at least I have one pocket. I'm down, to at least have one. You're sewing as well. Today you sewed a bunting for your niece. Aww. How about we bring suspenders back? Yeah, I'm down for suspenders, Brooke. That sounds fun. That might deal with the sway back thing, because you could just have, like, loose fit all the way around. A bunting. Okay, and do you mean bunting like the little blankie for the baby, or do you mean the little, like, flags? Sometimes people hang flags up, and they call those buntings as well. I think that's a very British term, but it's a very sweet term too. I think baby blanket sewing and knitting is one of the greatest things. Like I modeled our little quilt kit that we do for chicken boots after a quilt that a friend gave me when my daughter was born. That thing was so useful. We would just throw it down everywhere. If you're like, because my kid hated the car. Like, there's nothing I can say to describe how bad my kid hated the car. It was just screaming bloody murder the second we put her in the seat until we took her out for the first 2 years of her life. And so we didn't actually leave the county I lived in for 2 years by car. We had to fly. She would fly. It was fine. And then we would take breaks, and I would just pull over on the highway and lay that quilt on the ground, and then she would just lay there and just chill out. And I love that little quilt, and that's why just a little 36 by 45 inch quilt, it's all you need sometimes for someone so little. For us busty ladies, we can wear the suspenders backwards. Oh, yeah. I meant the flags. Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, in German, you see, that's a European way to call the little flags a bunting. Well, and I think the word bunting being used as a baby blanket or flags, but the word bunting doesn't really describe either very well. So I think that's why it's a little confusing. Aw, little flags. They'll have those in their room for forever. They won't outgrow that. That's really fun, and fun to sew. I have some rainbow ones up here at the office. Zoe's Hansel and the ballet. And she wears shorts with suspenders and elastic bag waist. Oh, Zoe was a car screamer too. Yeah, those car screamers, man. Yeah, I remember one time I went to my little mommy group with my friend who lived in my town, and we never carpooled because I just told her, I'm like, I just can't do that to you, because her son was the same age. And she was just like, Sarah, how bad could it be? I mean, we'll just turn up the radio really loud. She was hilarious. And I was like, I'm telling you, it's really bad. I kid you not. From the time I picked her up to the freeway off-ramp, which was like 10 houses away, my daughter was screaming so bad she was already hiccuping. And my friend turned to me and she basically had to shout over my baby. She's like, is it really this bad every time? I was like, yes. It was, I don't know why. She's not like that anymore, thank goodness. So, yeah, I'm sure she'll have it forever. Those little, like, things like that, I thought bunting, that would be really fun. Yeah. I love stuff like that. My husband used to live in Germany. He lived in Heidelberg. Went to school there. Oh, I ran out of bobbin. Whew. But I got another one. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna log off now. I hate to go. I hope I didn't distract you guys too much from your activities. But, you know, tell me what you want to sew. Give me any feedback. And I really appreciate you guys coming today. It's been such a pleasure to have you guys tune in. I'm really thrilled to do this. And I'm really passionate about this. Really want to give it a shot. I feel like it has a lot of potential to be that resource that helps you on the fly and is really interactive. And I hope people in the chat will talk with each other as well and help each other out. And it can grow into a community where we can all kind of hang out and make things together. So I really hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again. I'll let you know if I'm going to come on Saturday. That would actually work really well for me. So I'm going to guess that I can be on at 10 a.m. on Saturday, maybe 11 a.m. just to give some of those later risers that opportunity to join us. So thanks for stopping by. Oh, your flags were, oh yeah. You have seasonal flags? Dang, I need to get on that. Yeah, the flags are given to you. Oh, you embroidered them. Oh, that's nice. All right, guys. I will see you next time. Thank you so much for stopping by. And got my mouse here. Let's turn this off. All right. Bye.